Sound.
Yes, Big Z, we are back. The Brevity boys are back here with another episode. I know you missed this last week. We tried to get something together, but we sometimes we're gonna come at you, next Monday or Tuesday. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's
Got
just
a
a few
busy
days
week.
late. Just a few days
Yeah, a
late.
few days late. We'll still meet this week. Don't worry, guys. We got
Yeah,
a couple
it's
episodes
all
coming.
good.
Couple episodes coming.
Yeah. We're good guys. This it's just been a busy summer. I don't know what it's been, but well, I know what it's been, but it's just I don't know. Life is throwing stuff at us both. Not
Oh yeah,
necessarily bad things, but
not at all. Not at all.
it's yeah. Here's the thing. That's why I always tell the people like our stuff, subscribe to our stuff, and then the more that happens, the less we have to go to our real jobs,
There we go.
and the more we can do this for our actual income, and then we can come here 4 or 5 times a week.
That's
Maybe
right.
that sounds good to me.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been perusing some of the sports, like fantasy football and just some of the guys out there. And man, I gotta say, I mean, talk about regurgitation. I mean, I could watch like the same thing like 5 times. Like even this year, right? Like we're gonna jump right into it, but like the NFL's back, and we'll get there in a second because first I want to obviously know how you're doing. But like I'm looking at the rankings of rookies and everybody, Caleb Williams, and I'm not saying he's not, he looked fine yesterday. I'm not trying to take a shot at Caleb Williams, but we are one of the only podcasts that's sitting here going, no, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden
And then
Daniels is
last
the man.
year we did the same thing, and we were talking about Michael Penix, who also looks
Right.
fantastic.
Mhm.
And then last year we did the same exact thing with CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Everyone out there, all the podcasts, everyone, all the media was talking about, oh my God, this kid, yeah, this is the guy coming out of Alabama. Look at Bryce Young. And we were just like, what are you talking about? CJ Stroud is clearly the best quarterback that's coming into this draft. Like, what are you talking about? And so like we give you that little bit of diversity, you know what I mean? Like we changed it up. We changed
Yeah,
it up.
we changed it up. It's against the norm. We don't like to play it safe all the time, like the media does all the time. So
Which means sometimes we're wrong. But hey, if you're not wrong, you ain't trying. You know what I mean? Like if we're just agreeing with what everybody's saying, I mean, how does that help you? How does that help
why
you?
it's a waste of our time and of your time if we do that.
Yeah.
So, we're just giving you another angle. You
Yep.
can listen to us if you want to, but I think what we say for the majority of it is sound commentary. That's what
It's just the same thing as like, I'm talking to Jeff and I've like been breaking his heart over and over. He's sent me podcast after podcast. Jason sent me podcast after podcast. And all these guys are so excited about Devon Achane. And they're like, well, look, it's worked at other positions. And there's comparisons to like Chris Johnson. I was like, Chris Johnson was not small. He was a normal sized
Right.
human being. He was he was
Right.
like 6'4". Like he was not a small individual. And then, oh well, it works for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek's a receiver, guys.
Yes.
Like he's
And
a
the game
receiver.
is tailored toward him to help
Like,
him succeed. It's
gosh.
like, yeah.
You're telling me you're gonna run Devon Achane up the middle, up the gut 20 times a game, and it's gonna work. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Because the argument goes the same way, right? Oh, Mostert's old. Well, then who's getting the ball? Because you can't give it to Devon Achane 20 times a game.
I mean, last year it was Mostert's old and he had 21 touchdowns. So I don't know. Like, hey man, I've been trying to shop Mostert around in our league, and like, no, I'm like, dude, if you want to win now, it's like for 1 year, it's not bad. But I was like, I'll keep him. I'll gladly keep him.
Don't
on
you
my
worry.
team.
I have looked at him on your bench multiple times, and I am a win now team. And if Ramondre Stevenson by week 2 doesn't have me at least 2 tutties, I will package him with something for Mostert. Like I will come get your boy, because at the end of the day, like, is he worth the same value as Mostert? No, but in Dynasty, he's got significantly more years than Mostert does. So we'll figure out something. Don't you worry. But
We'll see. We'll see.
before we get into that, Big Z, let the people in, man. How are you? How are you, Big Z?
Let's see. I'm good. I am living the life that every dad wants to live. I've been
Absolutely.
just loving how much Oliver has been, so attached to me lately. Like, it is just dad. Dad, let's do this. Dad, let's do that. And my poor wife. Well, not my poor wife. She's probably happy about it, because it gives her a break. But it's been fun, man. It's just like a phase that Oliver's been going through, but
Yeah.
it's like, let's go to the park. Dad, like play cards with me. Dad, let's watch this. Like, it's been cool. So just kind of reaping the benefits of that. And then, I'm with fantasy football side, like my fantasy football's part of it. Getting excited for that. I'm a commissioner of another league, so we're getting that draft set up, and so that's fun. It's fun. We pull names out of a hat, and then there's an order of the names that were drawn, and then like if you were number one, I text you like, hey, you were picked number one. What slot do you want in the draft? And so like they can actually choose their slot in the draft, and like so on and so forth. And so it's
Right.
just like a different way of choosing it. So yeah, we're in the middle of that right now. But yeah, man, life is good. I can't believe it's almost September. So it's going. And my fan heart, my sports heart is getting really excited, ramped up because football is just right around the corner, man. But how about you? How was your week?
Oh man, it's been good. It was busy. Grayson's team is like fully like they're in. They're doing great, which has been really fun. Jaden working, the work doesn't stop. That kid loves it. When
Yeah.
your kid finds a sport that like, I'll come home and I'll be like, hey, do you want to go work with our dude Geo? He's like this incredible hitting and defensive coach. And because dude, like they're both at a place. Well, not necessarily Grayson, but Jaden for sure is at a place now. I'm like, dude, I can't help you much. I think I've said it before on this podcast.
Yeah.
I can manage, I can put rotations in place and I can help the team. I can put a team in a position to win. But in terms of like getting nitty gritty, like getting into the
Yeah.
granular sort of aspects of the sport, he's already a better pitcher than I've ever been. He's a better hitter than I've ever been. He's better defensively than I've ever been. So the idea that, I'm going to help him be like, hey, like I'll go hit him reps. Like we'll go to the park all day.
Right.
But
Right.
that's the kind of kid he is. I don't have to make him do it. Like on
That's awesome.
Tuesday, I got
He loves
home
it. He
and he
loves
was
it.
like, he saw my thumb go. He's like, Dad, let's go work. Yeah, let's do it. So he loves it. So that's always keeping me busy. Pools just, man, it's hot. People are using their pools. I'm not gonna lie, it should be getting a little bit easier because people are going back to school, so they can't just sit in their pool all day. So that's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's
yeah.
next week.
We always get calls. I have a pool to look at on Monday actually that a couple text me from Claremont, and it's starting to dwindle a little bit, but I'm still getting those green pools. My pool's green. Help me out. Especially people who move in summer. That's the other thing. Is like whoever sold the house typically will hire. Well, they will keep their pool guy on until the pool sells, and then they let him go.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, somebody like sees all this, like the pool they saw in like the buying the house process is no longer the pool that it is
Right.
when it's actually like when they move in.
Yeah, of
So
course.
kind of
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, no, Danielle's doing great. Arwen's doing great. Arwen is like the chillest baby of all time, and it's really cool. Like when you're talking about your kids, this just means you're an amazing father, Big Z. So well done. Take your praise.
Thank you.
Arwen, this is the first time when the boys were young, which is one of the reasons we kind of wanted to run it back. I'm not gonna lie. Which sounds terrible. Take that as you will. We wanted to run it back. Yeah, talking about my children when I say run it back, almost like it's a game, which is probably shows my obsession with sports a little bit too much. But with the boys, I was traveling for work. I was constantly gone, and it wasn't necessarily by choice. You have to do what you have to do, right? Especially living in California.
Yeah.
Those who live in California know, like you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Arwen, me not having to travel, she sees me and she just lights up. She's like, oh, yeah, like she knows exactly who I am. Or with the boys, I think when Grayson was born, I was literally commuting to LA. I get on a train at 4:23, get home at 7. He'd be awake with me for half hour. And then like about 6 months into him, I was gone like for 2 weeks at a time, Oregon, Washington, D.C., whatever it was. And so with her like every time I walk in, she's like, I know you. So it's just a completely different experience. It's amazing. I totally get where you're coming from. But we are a sports podcast. Let's get into it.
Get into it.
NFL, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. I was watching. I feel like every year, despite what people think, every year, preseason is just significantly more important to certain teams than other teams, right? So everybody talks about preseason and every team should have to play preseason. Let's be honest, not really, right? Like
not
the Niners are going to be the Niners whether or not there's a preseason.
Yes.
Like they're not using that. They're using practice. They're using camp to get right. The Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Right.
Okay. Like I guess it gets your rookies to get some reps, but really they're doing
Yeah.
that at practices anyway.
Yeah.
We've seen some joint debacle practice between like the
Great.
Lions and the Giants, for
Yeah.
instance. And
Yeah.
so they're already working out. They're working things out. But the preseason is like to certain teams though, it really does matter, right? Like when you see the Dolphins beating the Falcons or the Texans, coming out and beating the Steelers, it's like, dude, whatever. Like those two teams, the Falcons a little bit, I guess. They have some new personnel.
Steelers have a quarterback competition on their hands. So, like, like
Do you think it's actually like? Do you think it's actually? Is there a
well,
world, Big Z, where Russ loses that job?
no, not in my opinion. But like, I think that Tomlin wants to give, the sense to everyone else that, yeah, Justin Fields, he could be the guy. Like, he has so much
Uh,
potential type of thing. But
right, right,
I think, you promise Russell Wilson, we're going to give you the minimum, but like, we'll promise you that you'll come here, like, and you'll
right,
start. It's
right.
like, I don't think, like, at least for game one, like, I don't think you go back on that. Like, I know there's a lot of people that don't think that's possible, but Russell Wilson did not have a bad season last year. Like, there's
No,
like a lot of other
no.
problems going on in Denver than Russell Wilson. He had a really efficient season. It's like, if he plays like that for the Steelers, I think you're going to have a lot better of a team than you had last year. But anyways, I agree with you. There's a lot of teams that, like, you kind of like, whoa, the Bills, like, why did the Bills play their guys?
Right.
Is there
That
something
was
that
so weird
is
to me.
not like they're not ironing out, in practice? And so, like, I don't know, like, that just makes you think. But it's interesting, man. It is.
So that's exactly what I wanted to get into was you look at the Bills, they start Josh Allen. Then you look at the Panthers, and Bryce Young may not play the preseason.
Right. I know.
And and I'm like, okay, but the Panthers are a team that the preseason matters for. Like, I don't know what you saw last year that would indicate to you that you shouldn't take the preseason as seriously. But I mean, this is a moment for your quarterback to get on the same page with your brand new receiver, Deontay Johnson. Like what? Like this is your sort of your moment here.
Right.
So it's a little bit confusing when you see certain teams taking the series. Like the Patriots rolled out Drake May. They're rolling out their guy. Like, why would you not play? Like the Lions losing to the Giants. Not surprised, right? Like
Right.
the Lions aren't going to start Jared Goff. He knows what he's doing. They're not starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. He knows what he's doing. But they see a team like the Bills march Josh Allen out there. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, what's happening? Like,
I
why?
Yeah, there's so many different like trains of thought. Like, the Rams, McVay was the one who kind of started the whole like, I'm not playing any starters the whole preseason.
Mm-mm.
I'm not letting anyone get hurt. And the Rams are the Rams. Like, that
Right.
he's going to have them prepared and ready for week one of the regular season. But again, then you have the Bills. It's like, I thought Josh Allen is okay. Like, he's the
Right.
guy. He's one of the top paid quarterbacks in the
What
league.
are you looking to see here? Like, is it like what? Like when I see Josh
Exactly.
Allen, I'm like, are we just looking to get him hit? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are we doing? Like the Eagles don't roll out their starting quarterbacks, right?
Right. Right.
Lamar Jackson doesn't play for the Ravens. Like that makes sense to me. Like when I see teams like that, but then I look at a team like the Panthers and I'm like, where's the rhyme or reason, man? Like I'm
I
not,
know
I'm not
it's
getting
weird.
it.
It's the first time head coach. Like, yeah, and again, like, it kind of goes back to like the organization, like how they're ran. You can kind of see it from the top. It's like,
Right,
if you have an owner who's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, that's like a pride thing coming into play. Like, no, he was my number one guy. He doesn't need to play. He doesn't like, like, but he didn't prove it last year that he gets to
right.
be benched. Like, so I don't know. It's interesting. It's cool storylines though, for sure.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you who it does matter for, Big Z. And there's a big list of them. This was not a normal quarterback class. It just wasn't, right? Like
Right.
for the first, typically we'll see one or two guys that come out, and it's like that is expected to be the guy next year.
Right.
In his draft class, the way it was drafted, we had about 4 or 5 guys drafted that it's like, hey, you're going to be the guy. Like you are the guy. At some point, you will either be the guy or you are the guy. So let's jump into him. Obviously, the first one that was off the board.
1 second. 1 second. All right.
You know,
Sorry, YouTube. And let's go.
All right. Oh man, I totally forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I should have thought about that. Before we move on, though, real quick, I know we're about to talk about rookie quarterbacks. I just want to say another place where I think there's more of a competition than people think there is. And I totally forgot to mention a second ago. I apologize. We said we are gonna get into like Caleb Williams, but it's our podcast. We'll do what we want. Listen,
Sure.
Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I think there's going to be a little bit of a competition there as well.
Well, Minshew's not he's not having a good camp, and yeah, I think McConnell may be starting, by week 3 or something.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes on that. But getting onto these rookies, Caleb Williams. I don't know if you're able to watch any part of the game. He did make a pretty impressive throw down the field on the run. Here's the thing. For everybody that's super hyped about that throw, that's great. That's great. Here's the problem. You just let go of a guy who makes the same throw, right? Like Justin Fields, that was his strength, right? That was his ability to get outside and make that incredible throw was his strength. And Justin Fields, you can't tell me he couldn't do that. He did that all day long. Here's the thing that I want to know. I haven't been able to look into this yet, Big Z, because we're filming this on a Sunday. They just played yesterday. Was he making the right reads? That was our critique of him coming in. Was there a better read instead of him rolling out? So I know somebody's sitting there going like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of haters. No. I'm not trying to hate. I already told you. It was a great throw. It was a great play. He looked fine. I think the Bears are going to be fine. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I don't. Do I think it's going to work in the way that people want it to work out for fantasy football? I do not. But did we see enough from him? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in one or two drives, like, you can't really determine that. Like, you have to look at the practice, right? Like when they're scrimmaging and taking actual reps and running the offense. Like that's when they actually get into the nitty gritty, actually running plays that they're going to run in the regular season. And it's like, we won't know. We're really not going to know. Like you can't really determine like a great game off of 1 or 2 drives. Now, like when it comes to Justin Fields, like he did not have a good game. It's like, and you can kind of, that's more alarming to me than like us grading Caleb Williams. Like, oh yeah, he had a good game. No, he didn't. Like he's still at the same level, but like Justin Fields, he took a step back, he
didn't look good at all.
But yeah, man, I'd have to watch, some highlights of what Caleb Williams did. But you're right. He did make a play, but like, did he miss out on the first few reads like he did?
That's the issue. We never questioned his athleticism. We've never once on this show questioned his ability to throw the ball. The issue we're having is that when you look at some of his most amazing plays at USC and you actually broke down film, he missed the easy play. And those are the types of reads you have to make.
Yeah. Can you stay in the pocket? Right. Yeah, can you stay in the pocket and make the 5-yard out right there, then and there, move the chains? It's like, can he do that? I don't know.
Right. And DeAndre Swift looks fantastic. If you're a fantasy owner and you have DeAndre Swift, he looked absolutely fantastic. He was going north and south. He was going east to west. He looked like the guy he did last year. And yet, here is something that was slightly alarming, Big Z. I agree with you overall. Justin Fields, let me be clear. Justin Fields is far more alarming than anything Caleb Williams did.
Yeah.
But you and I have always been on the same page, and we'll get into that in a second. Russ Wilson did not have the best season, but I also agree, and we'll get into that with Bo Nix in a second. But finishing off this take, listen, how did Caleb Williams' drives end? Because he was able to move them down the field. 2 field goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying press the panic button. I'm not saying, oh no. I'm saying against secondaries that aren't at full strength, against a defense that wasn't playing all their starters, still couldn't punch it in.
Exactly.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
No, it's a great point.
His athleticism is there. I've never said it's not. Yeah. I've never said it's not. Having said that, are you able to get tutties? Are you able to make reads? Because that's when you score touchdowns, right?
Right.
Eventually, rolling out is not going to help you. Ask Kyler Murray. That's why they made the playoffs one time. And yes, there's been some injuries and whatnot, but he's not the guy we thought he was. Why? He can roll around. He's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the league. Great for fantasy football. Can he start to make those reads? And that's what I want to see from Caleb Williams. I'll tell you who we were right about, who was making those reads, and you saw it on the second throw ever, Jaden freaking Daniels, dude.
Yeah.
That guy is intelligent. He can move. He's athletic. To me, I just doubled down. He is the best quarterback in this draft. That we said it. We told everybody, Big Z. We told him.
Yeah, we did, and I think like he came into just the right situation with a head coach that has been a head coach before. Again, like someone who actually
Yep.
knows how to own the locker room, as they say. And so like I think like he's definitely reaping the benefits of that. But
Yep.
I mean, he played one drive. He was 2 of 3. But he just looked good. He looked comfortable in the pocket. Like that's what I want to see my quarterback.
Yep.
Like I don't care about you going out. Like again, like Caleb Williams, like I don't care about your athleticism right here. I want to see, can you stay in the pocket? Can you just chuck it down the field and make the right read to the right receiver and hit them in
Yes.
stride? And that's what he did yesterday. Yeah, it was 3 throws, but it looked really good against a Jets defense who is not shabby at all. On the road,
No.
he didn't look like the pressure was getting to him. He just
No.
looked like, this is my spot. This is where I belong. I am the number 1 QB, and I'm going to show you why you drafted me at number 2. And so, yeah, I think if you're a Commander fan, I think that you are thrilled with that start from Jaden Daniels. Not, and
I
again, it sounds like we're
right.
just like, oh, Jaden, he was our guy, and we're gonna praise him. Like, if he messes up, we'll tell you, but like he did not mess up yesterday, right?
Right.
And so, again, it was only one drive, but he made the most out of his opportunity, and it looks like he's just very confident, and that's what you want to see in the quarterback. He did what he needed to do to say, you know what, yeah, he deserved that number 2 pick for sure.
Right. Right. They get a tutty. Again, we're in the preseason, which is why even for a guy that I actually like, I was slightly nervous for Will Levis, right? Like he scored 2 touchdowns. Like I
Right.
want to, I want to show that I'm being fair here. Like Will Levis, I like that guy. I drafted him in Dynasty because I do
Yeah.
think he could take a step forward. But it makes me nervous in preseason when quarterbacks are rolling out already. You know what I mean? Like I want
Yes.
in preseason, I want you to sit there and try to make the read. I get it. You want to play your game. You want to kind of start to get a little bit comfortable. That's great. Want to roll out a couple of, all right, whatever. The problem is I want to see that you are starting to read the defense. You're starting to see things you can see, what you can see rather. And by the way, Caleb did have a pretty cute little before we move completely off him. He like did a little backhand pass to his running back that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
That's
Pretty cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. When we're talking about Daniels now, Jason, obviously the Showman Strowman is a huge Cowboy fan. And I've been trying to get in his ear a little bit. I'm like, dude, this team is going to be a real problem for you. I'm not saying overall, I don't know where this team finishes. I don't know what they finish. If they finish, I do believe they will finish over 500,
Yeah.
but they are not going to be the pushover that the Commanders have been. And in previous years, the Commanders have given the Cowboys everything they can handle
Yeah.
without this much talent. All of a sudden you got a great new head coach. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury working with your quarterback, working with your offense exclusively. I mean, there's a lot of things going right for the Commanders. So I'm just saying, I'd be a little bit worried here. If I was a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't just sleep on that. I think Jaden Daniels has shown everything we thought he was. JJ McCarthy does throw an interception, but
Yeah.
he did settle in. He did look a
He
little
did.
bit nervous,
Yeah.
but he settled in. He settled in through for a TD as well. Again,
I think with McCarthy, like like he's not having the best camp either. But I think that's okay. Like I think for him, like drafted number 11, like a lot of people assume that he's just going to be the number 1 guy like going forward. But that's why they brought in Sam Darnold. And I'm not saying that
right,
Sam Darnold is the savior for the Vikings, but I do think that he can kind of take the blow for a while and just like take the mantle of number 1 QB for at least half the season and let JJ McCarthy actually, get everything under him and learn the whole playbook and learn how everything works in the NFL
right.
and give him that time. And I think that's good. I think that really actually benefits quarterbacks instead of you just being thrust into the number 1 starting role if you're not
Yeah,
ready for it. Like Caleb Williams, he has to be. Jenny
has
Daniels,
to
you
be.
have to be there. But like guys like McCarthy, guys like Penix, like it's good that you're going to learn from a veteran quarterback. And I think this is a smart decision, at least as of now, like at least looks like the Vikings are doing. They're letting Darnold be the guy right now, and they're letting
Yes.
McCarthy learn. And so, yeah, like get all those kinks out right now in the preseason for McCarthy. It's fine. Like you threw a pick, but like you did settle in. That it also shows growth and improvement for sure.
Right. There's a hard difference for anybody who thinks again, oh, we're hating. How can you not hate on JJ
No,
when you just hate on it's a different scenario. JJ McCarthy, we sat here and told you he is not ready to be an NFL quarterback this year.
yeah,
Like we told you that before the draft. So if you want to talk about that, go back and listen to our podcast when we're breaking down this quarterback a couple of weeks ago. Listen, or I guess a couple months ago now. Man, time flies. A couple months
I
ago
know.
now. But JJ, no, you cannot expect him to be like this finished product. He's not the Mona Lisa week one. He's sort of like, he's that building, you know what I mean? It's like under construction a little bit. Like he's figuring it out, right? Like you got to give him some time. Like he just came out on offense where half the time he was just handing off the ball. And by the way, his handoffs look fantastic. So he's doing that, right? That's we knew he could do that. But give him some time. Sam Darnold is just fine. If you're a Vikings fan, you're not expecting to win this year. Let's be honest. You had a mini rebuild, get some pieces. You did go out. I do think you improved your running game. If I'm a Viking fan, I'm hoping that Sam Darnold can keep me in the hunt. So when JJ comes in and brings that little shock of electricity, all of a sudden you can make a push for the playoffs with obviously the guy that I love, Aaron Jones in the backfield. I've made no secret of that. I love that. Drake May, who you and I said, right, when the reports were coming out of camp that he was struggling, we sat here and we told everyone, like everybody's like, oh, he's the Tom Brady build. Oh, we haven't seen a talent like Drake May. What? Like he did it at what are we talking about, man? Yeah. Like there's just certain guys that like some analyst or some guy watches one film on or one game on and it's like, this guy is the next guy. And it's like, what in the world? Take a breath here.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same guys that said Zach Wilson was the next guy. Like when he was drafted number 2. And it sucks for these rookies because all this pressure is put on them because of where they're drafted. Like Drake May's number 3. And the Patriots, like, they did not have anyone. And so now, like, he's kind of stuck.
Right.
You know, and like, yeah, he had a decent game, 2 of 3, like just like Jaden Daniels, like 86 yards. You know, like he did okay. He did what he was supposed to do. But if you're really looking at it, like from the outside looking in, there's a reason why they signed Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
He's probably going to be the guy who starts, game 1 of the regular season. And like even Jacoby Brissett said something like, yeah, there's a reason why they brought me in. Like I've done it before. I've been here for years. I'm a veteran. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I can at least like keep a team afloat for a while the guy behind me learns. And like, that's exactly, I think like behind closed doors, that's what the Patriots are thinking. And Gerard Mayo, he's a first-time head coach. Like he doesn't want to go out there, just throw Drake May out there and then, just like everything lights on fire. Like that's on you, bro. Like that goes on your resume. And so like, he's going to bring in the veteran, the guy he knows like, okay, this, he's going to at least keep me competitive in these games. And like, hopefully they make that decision. Hopefully they just don't throw Drake May out there to the Wolves in week 1, because again, NFL players are prideful. And this is not a bad thing. What I'm saying, like, but just, oh, you're number 3 overall. Like you got to prove it to me.
Well, see,
we're going to go get you. And like, can he go up against that? I don't know. We'll see.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that is why we said this is a horrible pick.
Yeah.
We said this is a horrible pick from day one. We told Patriots, why?
Yeah.
Why would you build a team first? Go get Jacoby Brissett. Let him be your quarterback this year and go get talent. Go get a receiver, go get Neighbors or, oh my God, I just blanked on his name. But yeah,
Harrison.
Go get Harrison.
Yeah.
Go get one of those guys. Go make a trade. Go make a move. Get one of those. Neighbors looks fantastic for the Giants right now.
Right.
Go get a weapon. This pick didn't make sense to me because I don't think Drake May is going to be ready week 1. But when you draft a quarterback at 3, that's the GM saying this is our week 1 starter.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like it used to be. And that's why I agree with you. I don't think he's ready. I think it should be Jacoby Brissett. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with that point. What I'm saying is that just highlights what a horrible pick this was, because you've put yourself in a position as a new head coach. You've allowed yourself to be put in this position. You didn't, whatever it was, whatever conversations happened. I would hope that Mayo was able to have a say in taking on this team and him having some sort of say in what the identity of this team is going to be moving forward.
I'm sure.
But when you take a quarterback at number 3, you're saying he's going to be the starter. And if you don't, you're going to take criticism. And it's just the way it is. And this is a great opportunity to take some weapons. Like I said, a Neighbors would have been fantastic. Go get you a wide receiver 1 and let him know, hey, buddy, listen, we got to find quarterback, all right? But just know we're investing in the future. We're going to try to go get a guy next year, maybe the year after. Just stick with us, keep doing your thing.
Because they're most likely going to have a high draft pick next year. Like you could go get a quarterback, and the quarterback class is going to be really good next year.
Team's going to be well below 500.
Yeah,
and all you're gonna do is destroy Drake May's confidence. So again,
Exactly.
it doesn't make sense. What confidence he had, it's gone. Doesn't make any sense to me. And the first time ever, you are going to have a fan base, basically, and obviously, riding the hype train a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. A little bit of bias. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm not biased, right? Like I never said that. Like all I'm saying is sometimes I have not biased takes. This one, I love this kid, Penix. This is the first time that a fan base is sort of gonna be okay if a quarterback like twists his ankle in like week 2. Like if Penix has to come in. Like this is the purest to me pocket passer in this class. I'm not 100%. The first person to say that. You watch that Washington offense, what they were able to do, and watching him yesterday, nothing changed my mind. He looks fantastic. He's reading defense. He looks great.
I mean, this guy, like, this is one of the guys the Patriots, like, if you're going to go number 3, like, and no, everyone was like, no, he's a day 2 pick. Like, he's not, because of what? Because he's 24 years old. Like, I don't understand like the age thing, but regardless, he looked like an adult yesterday.
He did.
Like he looked confident. He looked strong. He was like, I don't care if there's freaking pressure around me. And like and the thing is, it's like he's been there. He had to play the Michigans. He had to play the USCs. He had to play the Oregons. He in these huge Pac-12 championship and then national championships. He played Texas. Like, like he knows what he's doing. And he's not phased by the pressure. That's what I saw yesterday. Again, kind of like someone like Jaden Daniels, just like, I'm going to stick in the pocket. I know I can run here, but I'm going to actually develop my game and maybe potential weaknesses that I have. Absolutely. And I'm going to show like, this is why the Falcons tricked everyone and actually took me to back up Kirk Cousins and to be his replacement in the future. And like, and he proved it. And now like if he sat the rest of the preseason, I would be okay with that, and I'd be confident in who he is as a quarterback. And as a Falcon fan, I'd be like, "Oh, this is great." Like this is like if, like you said, if Kirk Cousins gets hurt, if that Achilles isn't where it needs to be, I'm totally confident with the weapons that they've assembled around Penix, Bijan, Drake London, Mooney, like all those guys. I think they're going to be okay. I think he's going to be good. So I'm confident.
I mean, look. I understand, Kirk Cousins for a year. I didn't like the 2-year thing if you're going to bring in Penix, because I do think the latest Penix, I think Penix is ready now. I think if he was their week 1 starter, I think they're just fine. He's just polished. He's older. He's not a young guy. Same thing as the next guy I'm going to talk about. He's not nearly as polished. I'm not going to lie. He's not nearly as polished, but he broke records, played a ton of games. Bo Nix from the Broncos.
Right.
Let me just start off by saying I listened to Fantasy Footballers. And finally, I wasn't the only person. And Briggsy, you've had my back. You didn't leave me out dry. You're like, I'm with you. I'll go with you down this road. Finally, somebody caught up to where we were a year ago, right? Yeah. And hated on Sean Payton. And I don't understand why this guy gets a pass. And we've just assumed he's one of the greatest offensive minds and greatest coaches of all time, when he had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Drew Brees.
Right.
Drew Brees, his ability to read defenses, to run that offense, it was a perfect marriage. I'm not going to sit here and say it was all Drew Brees. I understand Sean Payton, that was his system. But after Drew Brees, what has Sean Payton done? Right. And then last year, to me, that was an absolute debacle. Right. I have never seen a team that was actually competing for a playoff spot, a team that wasn't actually that bad. Like, they actually were figuring things out.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there screaming during a game, at his quarterback. Well, his quarterback's not yelling back. We've seen Tom Brady and Bill get into it, right? We've seen Travis Kelce and Andy Reid get into it. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid get into it. We've seen that where they're both, right? They're like, I'm mad. But Russell Wilson just standing there, just almost like a child, just taking this absolute berating. And then it comes out this year, Bo Nix is the 3rd quarterback on the depth chart. No, he's not. He's not. He's your first quarterback. Oh, you got to earn his play. No, he doesn't. You drafted him where you drafted him because he's your guy. And then you went out and got Zach Wilson. Yeah. Come on, son. This is your guy. Give him some confidence. To me, Sean Payton could absolutely prove me wrong and show everybody why he is the GOAT coach. I don't know why everybody just looks at him and assumes he is this great coach when he had Drew Brees in the past. And to me, he's already fumbling the bag with Bo Nix. Give this kid some comp. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, when you draft a quarterback, your first step is to give him confidence.
Yeah.
right? Have you ever watched
100%.
Moneyball and they bring in Chris Pratt's character
Right.
and he's like
Right.
sitting at first base and he's like, pick a ball, picking machine, Scotty H, picking
Right.
machine. It's only
Right.
baseball, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what I want from a coach when you take a quarterback. You know, Drake May, throwing machine, JJ McCarthy, look at that handoff, you know, like
Yeah.
you stand behind your guys and you
Yeah.
just give them every sort of compliment, right? Not Sean Payton. Sean Payton's like, dude, this guy's number 3 on my depth chart. Like, okay, dude, everybody gets it. You're a hard ass.
Right.
Relax. You
Yeah.
drafted this kid to be the guy. He is going to be the franchise. Give him his flowers. Like, oh, dude, I'm not on board with Sean Payton, man. I'm just not. I'm just not, Big Z.
Yeah. He's a, I don't know, he's just more of like an old school head coach, like, I don't know, like not like really a player's guy, in my opinion. He just very prideful, like it's my way or the highway. I like get out like, if you don't like it. Like in to Russell Wilson, like, yeah, Russell Wilson, like we're not saying like he's perfect by any means,
No,
but Russell
no.
Wilson is a Super Bowl champion. Russell Wilson's
Right.
an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. Russell Wilson knows a little bit of what he's doing. And with Pete Carroll's a defensive coach. And Russell Wilson was able to propel an offense that really didn't have the best play calling, right? Like you had beast
Right.
mode, but like he was able to like make Tyler Lockett into a superstar, like while he was in Seattle. And so like, again, like the disrespect that Russell Wilson has received from last season is, to me, it's completely irresponsibly put on him, and it's
Right.
really on Sean Payton. And I 100% agree with you, man. It's
And
yeah,
to his credit, he has corrected it, right? And not only did he correct it, but now Bo Nix is first on the depth chart. Like it only lasted like a day or so. But regardless, the fact that came out, and then Sean Payton has to overcorrect because I'm sure that somebody in the Broncos organization was like, "Hey, this is our guy, dude. This is the
right.
guy.
Yeah,
Like either get on board or you're gone, right? Like you already the Russell Wilson thing. We're not going to defend him, but again, I agree with you. He was always fine for the Seahawks. Like they
right,
were always a winning team while
right,
he was there.
right, right,
And I think he's going to show it this year with the Steelers when he does win the job, which I do think he is going to start over Justin Fields, as you said, and I do think he's going to be just fine. Now, Sean Payton's had to go the other way, right?
right.
He's comparing him to Drew Brees, right? So like he had to overcorrect. It's like, yeah, he reminds me a lot of Drew Brees, pocket presence and his ability to throw the ball. It's like, dude, okay, nobody's calling him Drew Brees either.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're not trying. He doesn't need to be a Hall of Famer tomorrow. Find a happy middle ground, man. Like it's just,
Yeah, it's funny.
it's just absolutely, it's just ridiculous.
He's just trying to get a hold of the situation, I feel like.
Well, he
like,
has to. He has
again,
to. The
like,
Broncos are going to sit there.
He is
You
under the
just-
microscope.
You just let go of this guy who's a huge huge hit to our cap. And like, hey, you know what, dude? We got your back, right? The Broncos, like, we got you. You don't like Russell. We thought you would. You don't. Let him go. He's gone.
Right.
We'll
Exactly.
eat it. But then they drop Bo Nix, and now he's like, they're on the depth chart. I'm sure the GM's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, dude.
Shut up. There's no way that we can allow this.
Yeah.
Go make another movie about you being a cheater. All right? Forget it. Moving right along. We got to talk about this before we get done with the NFL. We knew the NFL was going to dominate as soon as he came back, but the storylines are just writing themselves, Big Z.
I know, like,
so we're going to start.
Yeah.
We're going to start here. First and foremost, who are you more concerned with as a team? If you're a Cowboys fan, are you more concerned with CeeDee Lamb, or are you more confident you'll get him back, or is it Ayuk with the Niners? Like, which fan base should have more concern?
I mean, overall, if you're looking at like how the team is made up, like roster wise, like if Brandon Ayuk, if we trade him, the Niners trade him, you still have a plethora of weapons at your disposal. Like, like if CeeDee Lamb doesn't come back, like if they trade him for some picks or whatever, like who do you got on that team?
They're 2-15.
Like
that's what they are.
Like you have Dak. Oh, woohoo! Like awesome. Like Dak can't do anything when the pressure's on. Like, and the pressure will be on because he wants that contract, and so he's going to even be more. He's going to push the envelope a little bit more. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing because he wants his money, which is whatever. But like the notion that like if Brandon Ayuk is traded away from the 49ers and that they're not going to make the playoffs is absurd to me. Like you say, like when Brock Purdy does well, it's all the system. It's Kyle Shanahan's system that makes him good. But with Brandon Ayuk, it's Brandon Ayuk. It's not Shanahan's system. Shanahan creates open space for wide receivers. That is the
100%.
point of his offense. Like if anyone is being helped out from the system and being elevated from a system, it's the wide receivers in his system. Now, I'm not saying that Brandon Ayuk is a system wide receiver, but like that is what that offense is created for. It's to get down the field. It's to create open spots in the middle of defenses. That's why he makes schemes. That's why it's so effective. And so you can't have it both ways, guys. Like you just can't. And so, like, I love Brandon Ayuk. I think that he is an elite route runner. He is definitely an elite blocker. Like schemes do not make you a better blocker, right? He is great at blocking as a wide receiver. But like if the Niners lose him, like they're still going to be okay. Like they're going to be hurting from it. But like I'd rather have, if I had to choose from the two, I'd rather have Trent Williams back than Brandon Ayuk. Trent Williams is a lot more integral of a piece to the Niners than Brandon Ayuk is. And that's just reality. Like come at me, but like that's just the reality of it.
Boom. Boom. Big Z dropping fire, dude. I didn't know that this much fire could be brought at 7 on a Sunday. That's right. By the way, when we're meeting, it's 7 a.m. on a Sunday. So
yeah,
if you ever doubt that we love you, this is how you know we love you. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. I don't understand why Ayuk is just like all of a sudden this like just finished product. And like I thought the same thing. Like everybody's sitting here talking about, oh, bro, are you the same guy that gives Brock Purdy crap because he's under a system? Like, are you the same guy? Yeah. Like, are you the same people that are saying, oh, Brock's only good because Shanahan's his quarterback? Like, we don't even know what Ayuk looks like. I'll tell you what. There's another quarterback. I'll make a comparison here because I think there's another team that directly compares, and we're seeing it. I don't buy that Green Bay has all of a sudden learned to draft the most elite receiving force on the face of the earth. I don't buy that.
Right.
What I buy is that LaFleur is free.
Right.
Devontae Adams is gone. Rodgers is gone. Jones is gone, even though he did, he used Aaron Jones very well. He used all those pieces very well. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But they're gone. There's no more egos. So now Matt LaFleur is like, I'm running my offense. Jordan Love's my guy. I'm running my offense, and I'm going to scheme everyone open. Like everybody is convinced all of a sudden that I hear arguments all day long. And again, this is why we're a different podcast. It's freaking laughable to me.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden the Broncos all of a sudden Green Bay has 4 of the best receiving talents in the entire league.
I know.
They're amazing. Like, look at how they've drafted. No, they have an incredible head coach with an incredible system, and he's scheming everybody open. There's not a better scenario for those receivers. And I'd make the same argument for Brandon Ayuk. There is not a better scenario unless Travis Kelce, unless Patrick Mahomes is sitting there telling Andy, let's go get Ayuk.
Right.
That's the one scenario.
And we're not taking shots at like these players that like thrive in systems. Like
that's great.
Everyone has a system. Everyone has a system, whether it's a crappy system or a really good system. Every team has a system. And just how do you utilize the players in that system? And how good of a coach are you to evolve that system? And that's all we're saying. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's all of a sudden like, oh yeah, it's the Packers. They're great. They have great receivers. They're studs. It's not the floor. Like it's funny how the media picks and chooses who they want to claim on the system, or no, it's the player that's good. It's not equal.
We sat here after the playoffs and everybody gave Jordan Love his flowers. Everyone gave Jordan Love his flowers. He had a great game. Don't get me wrong. He was throwing to receivers when he beat the Cowboys last year in the playoffs. He was throwing to receivers. There was no one within 20 yards of him.
Right.
That's coaching. That's scheme.
Yes.
For Green Bay to go in and say, we're taking the ball. We're going on offense first. Yep. You know how easily that backfires with the Cowboys' vaunted defense. Everybody was talking about how incredible this Cowboys defense was. And Matt LaFleur's like, I'm going to dice these fools up. They're not even going to know what's coming. This is going to be worse than Thanksgiving Day. Like, I'm going to tear these fools apart. Like, this is going to be awful for them. Give that coach his flowers. Give that man his flowers. We've given Shanahan his flowers. In that same breath, they're going to be fine. I agree with you, Trent Williams, 100%. The fan base that needs to be worried. If CeeDee Lamb leaves the Cowboys, you get 2 wins, okay? And I'm not taking a shot at Dak because Dak is going to get paid. If Trevor Lawrence is getting paid, Dak's going to get his money. Yeah. Whenever he is a free agent, that dude is going to get the bag because, look, he's had some playoff woes. So has Lamar Jackson. It happens. I'm not going to sit here and defend his playoffs. What I am going to say is he's had some pretty remarkable regular season games. So if you're a team that's looking to get to the playoffs, he can help you get there. Now, once you get there, we'll find out. But he can at least get you there. He's going to get the bag. But I love it, dude. I 100% agree with you. I think it's hilarious how we pick and choose. Oh, it's all Ayuk. It's not Matt LaFleur. Oh, like no. Okay? Is Ayuk fine? Is he a good receiver? Absolutely. Does he go to a team like Pittsburgh and is just as good? Absolutely not. There's no way. I'm not buying it. I'm selling it. Moving right along. Big Z, dude, we love us some baseball, man.
I love,
Oh,
bro, the races that are going on right now. Like,
insane.
what the heck, bro? Like, I'm going to give the Diamondbacks their flowers because we were talking a little crap on them like a few
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dude, they're 12 games above 500 now. They're 3.5 games behind the Dodgers for the division, and they're like 2 up on the wild card. And
Yeah.
the Padres are just playing like they were supposed to be playing 3 years ago. Finally. Like it's crazy, man. Like it's like I also like that the Dodgers are being pushed. Like,
Yes.
and this is a Dodger take, but fine, sorry, but like I like that they're actually being pushed in the regular season,
I'm not
and which
sorry.
is something that hasn't happened in like the last 10 years, really. Besides that one year, the Giants randomly were good and won the
Yep.
division.
Yep.
But I think this actually helps the Dodgers like when it comes to the playoffs. Hopefully, I think they'll be fine. That they'll make the playoffs, like and barring a bunch of injuries. But it's good, man.
Look no further than this series. Right? A couple years ago, if the Pirates come to town, it happened last year. We get swept or we lose the series. Like, because, they're already 10, 12 games ahead. Who cares? Now, all of a sudden, Jack Flaherty is throwing 109 pitches against the Pirates to get the W. Like, they are playing a different brand of baseball. I was there on Friday. I watched Jack Flaherty have an absolute masterclass. I love it. And I think more than anything, it's great for baseball. If you're a Padre fan, you have a glorious stadium. The Padres Stadium is amazing. Petco Stadium is fantastic. It's right next to, it's right in the city. It's amazing. Diamondbacks making a push, just like you said. I think it's great. I mean, there's a chance, Big Z. There's a chance you're going to see two teams again from the NL West, just pure domination in the NL side. But we'll see. You know, the Braves are going to have something to say about it.
3.
I know. Well, I'm talking about wild card 3, but yes.
Right.
But I mean, there are going to be some teams that are going to have something to say about that, right? I mean, you still got the Mets that are balling out right now. They're right behind the Braves, right? So you got the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Braves, and the Mets. But let's not get it twisted. Those guys are right there. The Braves are just about even with the Diamondbacks. The Mets are 0.5 back. The Giants.
I mean, you could have 3 in the wild card actually from the NL West.
This is crazy.
They're only 1.5 out.
The Giants turning it around. Yeah, the 1.5 out. The Cardinals are 2 out. I mean, this race is insane. The Pirates unfortunately went through murderer's row. They had to play the Padres and then the Dodgers. So they were last week, like a couple weeks ago, they were like a game out. Now they're just they had a really rough go of it. But it's fun to watch, man. That Mets team keep competing. The Braves, the Braves aren't going to be denied the playoffs. The Braves are not going to be denied the playoffs. They're too good. Here's what I'll say for both fan bases, the Dodgers and the Braves. For the past years of those teams just getting in and not even being worried about it, like this is going to help your team be playoff ready. Like this playoffs, the baseball, MLB's playoffs this year, I'm so fired up already for it. And we're not that far.
Right. We're not
going to be here before you know it.
Yeah. I like that they're like, it's kind of testing like how resilient these teams are. Like you said, like I think that's huge for the playoffs because like there's not ever a challenge against them like during the regular season. And then, when one thing goes wrong in such a short series, like then their backs are against the wall. Like how do they come back from that? And right now I think that's actually building up that resiliency. And so league, watch out, because like if you're, you don't like the Braves, you don't like the Dodgers, and your other teams, it's like, ooh, these teams are being tested now. Like, usually we get to test them in the playoffs and they can't come back from it. But like now they're starting to learn how to face that adversity, right? And so I think it's more dangerous for the rest of the league. But I love it, man. And the AL side, I love the AL East, the Yankees and the Orioles. They just keep flip flopping that top spot in the division.
Poor Boston, man.
I know. Poor Boston.
7 games back at 61 and 54.
I know.
6 games above 500. There's 7 games back. Poor Boston.
I know, man. It's
Houston.
And again, like
Seattle.
Boston, give Boston their flowers. Like they're competing with not the best roster. Like, I mean, they're only 2.5 back of the wild card, so they still have a chance. But it's crazy. They're only 27 and 30 at home, which is nuts.
I hate giving him his flowers because he was a former Dodger.
I do. I know, but as a team, that team is doing well.
But Cora's doing a great job with that team. There's just There's no way around it. And then you look, the Yankees, they have a sizable lead, obviously, 4 games up.
Yeah.
But then but Twins only 1 game up. The Royals are in the playoffs right now. The Red Sox are only 2.5 back. The Mariners 3 back. Tampa Bay Rays 6 back. I mean, there's still time to make up that ground. The surprise, obviously, of the season, injuries and whatnot. The Rangers are just, I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, they're probably going to. I mean,
9 games back.
That's baseball, man. Like you always have a team that wins the World Series or at least makes the playoffs, and then the next year they get decimated with injuries, or it's just not their year, like whatever it is. And like it seems like the Rangers and again, the AL West is super weak this year. And so like the fact that they couldn't take advantage of that for a second straight season is pretty alarming. Like if I'm a Rangers fan, but again, it's like also as a Rangers fan, like last year was our first ever World Series. Like I that probably it's going to help.
You're doing fine.
Ease the pain for the next 10 years of regardless of what happens. So you're doing okay. But yeah, it is surprising though that like they went from all the way up top to like they're gonna be struggling.
It's like as a Kings fan, when we lose the Oilers, it was like, oh, we lost the Oilers again. It's like, dude, I saw him win 2 Stanley Cups. Get out of here.
Right.
I did.
Exactly.
That might have been 10 years ago, 2014. But guess what? I saw it, so I'm fine. I'm doing just fine. Good.
I feel fine. Yeah.
Do we still have 1 more than the Ducks and 2 more than the Sharks? Then I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
I'm a happy Kings fan. I did it. I brought up hockey in August. Regardless, these races are going to be fantastic. And if you are getting into baseball or you're not getting into baseball, it's time. Okay. Baseball right now is averaging 26,000 per game. Again, there's football fans out there like, oh, we average 100,000. Everybody or 70,000. Everybody goes 162 games, people. 162 games.
Right.
32 MLB teams or whatever it is.
Smaller stadiums too.
26,000 is a great number, especially when you got teams like the A's bringing everybody down, like the Marlins bringing everybody down. The Giants, the freaking Giants, the Dodgers. You say what you want about the Giants. We're not Giants guys here, but man, their fan base, they show up.
Oh yeah,
Constant Salas, Padres, Constant Salas, Dodgers, Constant Salas,
Red Sox,
Diamondbacks. Get on that level. Your team is there. It's time for you to embrace that team. All right, go buy their City Connects. Right.
Yep.
Baltimore Orioles. Love watching them be good. Freaking Jackson Holiday. Apparently didn't know. Season started April 1st. The Jackson Holiday season starts in September or August because, man, that kid is balling.
That's right.
He went down for a little bit, and now he is just hitting dingers.
He came back ready, bro. He came back ready to play.
You know what, dude, though, again, bringing him up that early was probably like, dude, come on, let him tie his laces, man.
Exactly.
Give him a minute. This is baseball.
It works, man. But again, it's the same thing with the NFL. Like, if they're not ready to be quarterback, they're not ready.
But I will say, I love that the MLB is coming around. This is something you and I called for 3 years ago. If you want to compete with the NFL, if you want to compete with the NBA, when you draft a kid first overall, man, hopefully he's ready for next year. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Jackson Holiday. I love it. Don't put him into your farm system for the next 5 years. I always hated that. This was the 2022 number 1 overall draft pick, and now it's 2027. He's playing in his first MLB game. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. It's bad for baseball. You want to build a popularity of baseball, get these kids in, give people somebody to root for, right? Because now, guess what? There's a whole new generation of Orioles fans. They're like, Jackson Holiday, oh my God, I get to watch him for an entire career. He's young. He's exciting. He's electric. Get in there. Watch that team play. Oh, I love it. Standings are crazy. The White Sox on the complete opposite side.
They won.
They made history, but we have to talk about it. They did, yes, they did win, but we also have to talk about the fact that they made history and are by a lot of games.
Yeah,
a lot of games, like 20 some odd games, are the worst team in baseball. They went on a 21 game losing streak, and again, we're Dodgers fans. I'm not gonna lie, but watching Miguel Vargas sit there, going from the Dodgers to this team, and just sitting there like, what is happening right now?
Right,
like what is going on? They are so bad, Big Z.
At this point, like it's not even. I don't even think it's talent.
No,
like I feel like on paper they're better than the A's or even the Angels, but like it's just
100%.
They're just giving up. Like what's the point? Like even if we win the rest of the games this year, like we're going to end up with 47 wins. Like it's like over 100 losses. It doesn't matter. So like just like rest, like like get my money. Like at that point, I'm like I'm okay with that. Like just get your money, don't get hurt, and like let's start next season. Let's start prepping for that because
and see if you're the White Sox.
Gosh, I'm so
if you're the White Sox, this is the moment, dude. Bring up every prospect. Find out
Yeah.
what you got.
Yeah.
There's only 21 games left, so they're still going to be eligible to be rookies next year,
Yeah.
right? So just bring them up, see what you
Yeah.
got, find out what that one kid looks like against the A's,
That's
or
right.
the Angels. Find
Yeah.
out. That one kid that is there. I wonder if he could hit. I wonder if he could be as good as Aaron Judge. Find out. Bring him
Yeah.
up.
Find out now. This
You
is the
got nothing
time.
to lose.
Yeah.
You
You
should not
nothing
have
to
a
lose.
single player on this field right now, besides maybe one or two that's older than like 24.
I know.
Like everyone should just be the youngest of the young for the White Sox. At least then they're going to play for each other. They're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
You're going to see it like you did, the Pirates when they were bad, but they were playing for each other. They were a good, fun, young team. We talked about last year.
Look at the Royals. This is what they did last year. They sucked. They only won 56 games the whole season last year, and they brought up their guys. And now look at them. One season later, they're in the playoff race. Like it's possible. This is baseball. That's why baseball is amazing, right? So Chicago White Sox fans, for those of you listening out there, I know there's a lot of you. Maybe I don't know, but it's okay. Like next year, like you never know, it could happen. So
100%.
You got this.
You just got to stick with it. That's exactly what the Royals did.
Play your guys. Yeah, exactly.
You want to look at the blueprint?
Even the Orioles.
Bobby Wood Jr. Losses. Bobby Wood Jr. is only 24 years old, man. They brought him up. Like, hey, let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Bring up your young guys.
Boom.
Bring up your young guys. Wrapping up baseball, Danny Jansen could make history, because
yes, he did.
He can make history. He could be the first MLB player to play for both teams in a single game. He was the catcher for the Blue Jays. They're playing the Red Sox. He gets traded. Red Sox let go of their other catcher. He's the guy now. When they reignite, because the game got rain delayed, when they come back together, he's probably going to be the catcher for the Red Sox.
It's pretty awesome. I love it. But if you're the box score guy, I don't know how you.
I have no idea.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know like the what you put in there. Like like there's different baseball terminology. Like 5-4-3 double play, like whatever it is, like you put on the box score. Like I don't know what you put on the box
T2,
like
this T2, is like traded two, position 2 traded. Like I don't even.
Yeah, like I don't know. So like I don't envy that guy, but I envy Danny Jansen, because that's something that no one else is probably ever going to be a part of. Like you are probably the only one in MLB history forever who's going to be that guy who played for two teams in the same game. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Yep. Shout out to the Olympics. U.S. winning golds. The basketball team did it last night or yesterday. Steph Curry just went full send. Steph Curry.
Yep.
LeBron just still doing his thing. Wemby looked fantastic as well. Give him his flowers for France.
Yeah.
And by the way, what's his name? Joker. He looked so much more excited to get bronze with Serbia than he ever has to win an NBA final.
He's prideful, man. He loves his country. He
loves his country, man.
He wanted to go there right away after he won the finals.
Shout out to Alyssa Nair. U.S. women's soccer takes gold.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me like way less distractions. Not a lot of belief. A lot of people did not think this team was going to be as good. They left a lot of, I remember us talking about Alex Morgan being left off the squad. We're like, what? No way.
Yeah.
But all new kids, new players, they did fantastic. Looked great.
Right. Yeah, they're just into soccer.
Napier was a wall.
Wow. Like, who would have thought? Like a team winning gold who just wants to play soccer and represent their country. Wow. Like, you love it. You love to see it. Finally.
What a concept.
What a concept. Yeah.
Far cry from our most embarrassing finish ever 4 years ago at the last Olympics. So
yes,
that's great. U.S. is one gold medal behind China. So I don't know if there's events today, but
I don't know. We'll see. I know China always they don't have overall a huge number of medals.
No, we have 125.
They're always with us when it comes to the gold medals. So
I mean, but the U.S. is pretty well balanced. Like you think it's it's like 39 gold, 44 silver, 42 bronze.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple events that the U.S. medaled in, like gymnastics. The one dude with the thing where he's flicking his legs around. We've never medaled, and he Clark Kent took off the glasses. That was dope.
Yeah, I saw that. It was awesome.
Yeah. Nobody's as cool as that shooter, the guy who just glasses. And that's it.
Yeah, I know. I don't need equipment. I'm good. I'm freaking awesome. I'm just the best at my craft. Come get me. I love it.
Yeah. So hey, we'll see. We'll see if the U.S. can catch. I don't even know. That's how little. I'm not gonna lie. I've not been. I've watched a lot of highlights. Right.
Yeah. Because it's on at different times. Yeah.
It's just so random. It's so hard to keep track of. Big Z, this has been fun.
Yes.
Say about it.
It's always fun.
It's a fucking
People,
blast.
I hope there's a resolution to the Brandon Ayuk stuff, the CeeDee Lamb stuff this week. We'll talk about it soon. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good week. Stay safe, stay cool, because it's a freaking hot summer. But I love you guys. Like our stuff, subscribe to our stuff. Love you guys.
Yeah, we post funny stuff. If you want to go see the buffest security guard I've ever seen in my life, it's
Yeah,
on our
yeah.
page right
You guys
now.
jacked.
So the guy was
Jacked.
jacked.
Yeah.
Have a great day, great night, great work day, wherever you're listening, whatever you're doing. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening.
Oh.
Everything all good? What happened? Oliver crying or?
Did you hear him the whole time?
No, couldn't hear him at all.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if something was wrong because I couldn't hear him.
No, he just wanted me to sing to him.
Dad.
Yeah. Just being a little toddler.
How have we been doing? We're still averaging like what, 10 listens per podcast?
Same podcast.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
I don't know who those 10 people are because my parents only count for one. I know Jason and Mitch aren't listening anymore. So
my dad listens, so I know.
Okay, so that's two.
One. Yeah, so
8 randoms from around the world. I'll take it.
We're doing it. We're doing it, bro.
I haven't looked at our YouTube page in forever, but
it's all up there. All right, bro. I gotta take off.